What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So before we talk about the 4 weeks out physique update from the mutant Nick Walker, let's discuss one thing, the major shift in his sponsor. As nobody saw that coming. Well, none of us ever thought that Nick Walker is gonna go back on Ford's podcast either. But that did happen a few weeks back. And the fans absolutely loved it. So this time Nick Walker went from Raw Nutrition back to HD Muscle, which was his previous sponsor. So what's next for Nick? Maybe going to Hosstile Supplements in 2026? Well, you never know. Now let's take a look at the most recent physique update from the mutant. And that is the front lat spread. The one shot. That was his biggest weakness up until last year. And I have got to say that is now turning out to be one of his strongest shots. And I do have to say his front lat spread here, that is looking way more freakish than his most muscular. And just think about that statement for a second. Nick's most muscular has always been a very strong shot for him. And up to a point, that is the first shot that Nick Walker hits when he first comes out on the stage for his individual posing routine. Now, nasty side shots. And Nick is now showing that he has the ability to also change very fast when they drop the hammer, when it's time to get shredded. Now we cannot neglect the fact that although his upper body, that is looking jaw-dropping right now in these recent physique updates, but this whole imbalance thing between his upper and lower body, especially the outer quad sweep, that might as well cost him dearly again, especially against guys like Martin, who has those humongous quads, and Derek, who has that insane V-taper. Now Nick has short legs, and the way they attach to his upper body, that is just not very ideal, especially if we bring the other guys in consideration, like Derek and Martin, both of whom have incredible leg frame and very pronounced V-taper. Now on the flip side, Nick Walker is very muscular, very big, and he has the freak factor. Now he isn't far from being contest ready, as we are now less than 4 weeks out of this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro. So his shape, that just isn't gonna change that much in the next 4 weeks or so. So I feel like the man is gonna be freaky as hell on the stage. But at the same time, he won't be the most balanced guy in that Pittsburgh Pro lineup. As far as Nick Walker working with his new coach, whatever these guys are doing, it's definitely working. Guys, we have a limited time offer. If you buy any flavor of Bloodshot, you are gonna get a free Dying Breed t-shirt. The discount code is on the screen right now, and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. Derek Lisford meeting up with the 4 times Miss Olympia, the legend, Cutler, in front of that Germany crowd, and recreating that famous quad stomp with the legend himself. That has got to be the best moment from FIBO Germany on day 1. So the crazy thing is that, even 12 years after retirement, Cutler is always ready to hit these shows and pump up the crowd. Now with that said, we also got to see how Derek's quads are looking at 4 weeks out from this year's Pittsburgh Pro at FIBO Germany yesterday. And the man isn't playing around one bit. Look at the separation in Derek's quads. The man is so ready to win another big show in 4 weeks time and another big paycheck of $100,000. And the moment he gets back from Germany, it's gonna be hammer time for these last 3.5 weeks. So what if Chris makes Derek eat up for this upcoming show, and Derek shows up in that same condition as he did for the Arnold, but with more size and maybe bigger quads? I'm gonna say this again, it's gonna be absolutely game over. Now nobody has a better X frame than Derek, especially when the man is truly on. And the Olympia was nothing but just a bad peak for Derek, and that is why he dropped down all the way to 3rd place at his first ever Olympia defense last year. So we were discussing this just last year, that Derek does just one show every single year, and maybe he should compete more than once. And this time the man is literally trying to create history, because none of us thought that he would continue to diet another 10 weeks after the Arnold and try to win the first ever Pittsburgh Pro title, and that too against some of the biggest names, Nick Walker and Martin. And that was a risky move, but props to Derek for putting his name out there. So Townsend's code just dropped the latest physique update of the 2 times Arnold champion. So this is as ready as anyone can be with another 4.5 weeks to go. And this is without any shadow of a doubt, the biggest and the most aesthetic and the most symmetrical Terrence has ever looked throughout his pro career in Classic. So what is the first thought that comes to your mind after looking at all of these recent pictures of Terrence? I'm gonna say we are watching history in making. Is there anyone out there who can say, whatever your definition may be of classic, that Terrence isn't classic? I mean, this guy has all the tools to fit every definition of being classic. And yes, there have been several instances where the guys look so damn great all the way leading into the show, but that look just doesn't translate on the stage. But if everything goes according to the plan, I do not see a reason why this physique will not fight for that classic physique Miss Olympia title this year. Now looking at all of these pictures and the clarity on what Tyler Mannion meant when he told Terrence to work on his legs, it's obviously very clear that Terrence would like to add more thickness in the hamstrings and on the side of his legs, because that would just make him even more complete. So seeing how Terrence's body has been responding all throughout this prep, not a surprise at all when he says that this has been the best prep for him so far. So it looks like Terrence is gonna be so ready to make a statement at this year's Pittsburgh Pro on his comeback show after more than 1 year gap. The posing routine of this guy, Andre Charette, from Canada, apologies if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, that is floating around all over the social media. And this footage alone, that is enough to prove that there were so many great bodybuilders from the 90s that we do not even know about. To this day, there hasn't been a better lighting at any show in the past 2 decades than what we saw at the Iron Man back in the day. So did that kind of lighting made all of these pro bodybuilders look a lot better than these guys actually were? Well, I'm gonna say maybe yes, but it would be so cool if that kind of lighting makes a comeback in today's era. So do you guys know what's even more shocking than this posing routine? It's the fact that this guy Andre, he was only weighing 180 pounds here. The fact that he placed 13 in this show, that just goes to show us the kind of insanely deep lineup we had back in the 90s. Just look at the top 4 of this show, of the Iron Man back from the 90s. Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Paul Dillette, and Lee Priest. So all of these names that I just mentioned, they are considered some of the biggest legends we have seen in the sport of bodybuilding. Now Andre could have done extremely well if there was a 212 division back in his time. As great as he looks here, he competed in the era which most of the fans out there say was the golden era of bodybuilding, and the competition was just way too good back then. Now that being said, we cannot forget that the cameras back in the day, they weren't high tech, and the low resolution that did contribute to more grainy looks in all of those old videos. Nonetheless, that right there is a dream physique, and this needs to be featured everywhere. Up next, we have the 10 weeks of physique update from the Prophecy Nathan D'Asia. So he's most probably gonna be doing Dubai Pro as his first show against Behrouz Tabani this year, and Behrouz Tabani is the defending Dubai Pro champion. So many people out there are gonna see this as maybe Nathan is behind schedule. And if you are thinking that same thing, then you have no idea how fast Nathan's physique changes once they drop the hammer. I mean, this guy has won shows in the past with only 6 weeks of prep. That is how good his genetics are in terms of getting in shape. So as of right now, he has the most number of IFBB Pro wins out of all the guys who are actively competing. So last year Nathan did a total of 3 shows, but he was able to win only one of them, and that was Portugal Pro against William Bonac. So has he changed his stance about doing the Olympia again? Will he be willing to compete in the biggest bodybuilding show of the year if his travel issues are resolved? Well, only Nathan can tell us that. So this is a very unique example, which is kind of unprecedented in the entire bodybuilding history. Nathan has been qualifying for the Olympia ever since 2019. He has been winning shows every single year, except for 2020, when he did not compete at all because of COVID. So this right here is a guy who earned his Olympia spot for 6 years, but did not make it to Miss Olympia stage. Now Nathan beat William Bonac last year, I just mentioned that. And Bonac went on to place top 7 at the Olympia last year. So Nathan is still a top 10 guy, without any shadow of a doubt. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.